DU has been showing us what we can do, and it's that can-do spirit that I believe in.
Take it.
Don't forget, Ducks Unlimited.
Hi everyone, welcome to Ducks Unlimited Television. I'm Ainsley Beeman. Our journey to North Dakota was a run and gun affair. Zach Peterson hosted this episode and was joined by DU's Joe Breidenbach and Tom Munich. There's open water, potholes, standing corn, and some serious tornadoes of ducks and geese over the decoys. All this next on DU TV.
After a long 12-hour drive from Kansas City, we arrived here just on the south side of Horsehead Lake at Dakota View Lodge, and we got 3 full days of chasing ducks and geese. It's our first morning here in North Dakota. We just got all the decoys set up and the sun's getting ready to come up. It's almost shooting light. Absolutely beautiful, calm, crisp morning, and a little bit of a west wind. And Joe and the guys have been scouting this spot. There's this little bay off this bigger body of water, and the mallards have been hanging out in this bay and feeding in a bean field a couple miles away. So kind of the goal is to hopefully after they feed in the field mid-morning, they're going to be coming back to water to roost, and we'll catch them right in here.
I'm the regional director for Ducks Unlimited in North Dakota. 27 years almost with DU, and served in several capacities, worked in several parts of the country, and even spent some time in national headquarters in Memphis.
One special thing about our first morning in North Dakota was meeting Clayton and his son Taden. They're avid duck hunters themselves, and they invited us to hunt with them. The piece of ground we were hunting that morning had been in their family for 4 generations. Pretty cool to sit there with him, listen to him talk about it, share a little piece of his world up here in North Dakota with him. We're switching the deeks around. This little cove that we had initially set up on this morning, all the water in it froze around the decoy, so there's no movement. It doesn't look real. And all the birds we've had come by for the past half an hour, you can just tell they don't like it. So we're picking them all up, moving them here to the other side, and hopefully it works a little bit better.
Been a friend of Joe's. I've come out to North Dakota with him almost 20 years, off and on. Together we make a pretty good team, asking permission, finding spots to hunt.
Our plan just didn't come together. We saw a lot of mallards, a lot of birds were working in the area. They didn't like our spread, and they just the birds that came by us just kept passing on. And I think they had food on their mind more so than sitting down in the water.
Joe, how are things looking for the morning?
Oh, feels good. Wind finally, wind.
Another beautiful North Dakota morning. We're sitting out kind of on this little point on some big water. There's a ton of divers, mallards, honkers. There's a little bit of everything right in this area using these different bodies of water. Kind of the idea is we got the wind coming off this point. We got this calm water on the north side at the point, so we're setting the mallard deeks here in the calm water. We've got the diver spread on the point. Hopefully we'll suck them right in here and it should work awesome. We're not getting any lower.
Mark.
Good shot. Back.
More spoony fajitas.
That's what I'm talking about. Some of my favorites. You know, some days you've got the right setup, it just doesn't come together, but they just stay right on the outside of the decoys and right out of shooting range. But still, an awesome morning. After the morning hunt on our first day, we took the opportunity to scout in the afternoon. Yeah, there's ducks across the whole thing. We're checking out a spot for tomorrow morning. This is a spot that Joe has hunted in the past, and I can see why it's loaded. There's swans and Canadas and snows and divers and puddle ducks and everything you can imagine out there. And we found a very unique little spot. It was a standing cornfield, and from rains over the previous couple weeks had filled up a low depression. And so a little pothole pond had been created in the standing cornfield, and from a distance we saw groups of mallards going in there. And one group after another, they were just pouring in there.
If you're a duck hunter, you probably already know that the prairie pothole region of the U.S. and Canada is one of the most important waterfowl breeding habitats in North America. No matter where you live, you should be concerned about issues affecting the place we call the duck factory, because that's where many of your ducks come from. Unfortunately, many of the wetlands and grasslands in this region continue to face significant challenges. In fact, Ducks Unlimited has designated the prairie potholes as one of North America's most threatened waterfowl habitats. 50 to 90% of the pothole wetlands in some parts of the duck factory have been lost or severely degraded. Nearly 200,000 acres of native grasslands have disappeared in the last 3 decades. Through our Preserve Our Prairies initiative, DU's conservation strategy includes working with landowners to protect and restore habitat through voluntary, incentive-based programs, and encouraging farmers to grow waterfowl-friendly crops such as winter wheat. We also work hard in Washington to ensure wildlife-friendly provisions in important legislation like the Farm Bill. Across the region, our science-based approach helps us to identify the most important areas for waterfowl and to use conservation tools that bring the best bang for our buck. Saving the duck factory isn't cheap. We need to raise tens of millions of dollars from our supporters and then leverage more from partners to conserve and influence nearly 1 million acres of key prairie habitat for the long term. Please help the duck factory by getting involved today. Visit the DU website to learn more about the Preserve Our Prairies initiative.
On our trip here in North Dakota, I had a really cool opportunity to meet some of the local volunteers and some folks involved in the Kidder County, North Dakota Ducks Unlimited chapter.
Duck hunting is important to me because it's always been a passion. I started hunting with my dad when I was probably 7 or 8. We enjoy the conservation part of it. We farm quite a bit of farmland. We have pasture. Being able to have friends, family come hunt with us, that's definitely the best part of it all. And hopefully having something for our kids to look forward to someday too, to hunt.
We had a little afternoon meet and greet, get together. We had a great time, and we hung out there in John's basement, and he told stories about the past, and he broke out the gun collection. Had an absolute awesome time.
The reason I really love it is that I've had many fond memories of hunting with friends and my boys, and I just try to give back a little to the ducks, pass it on for future generations.
I think that hour worth of time with those individuals there is kind of the essence of why I love duck hunting so much. You know, a group of people that are from different walks of life, but all have one common love and passion, that's duck hunting, and more importantly, conservation for the ducks, to see the sport that we love so much continue on for years. After our time there with the local Ducks Unlimited folks, we hopped in the pickup truck and had about a 30-mile drive to that standing cornfield with the water puddle in it. So we hustled out there, and Tom was nice enough to go in early, set out the decoys. It was ready to go. See the duck tracks, the feathers and stuff, it's unbelievable. The mallards have been thick in here. So we watched it last night, got permission today, and we're in here. So we've got about an hour and a half left of shooting light. They haven't started flying yet, but we're in hopes the last hour will be action-packed. That's what I'm talking about. That was beautiful there. That single hen dropped in out of the bunch, and I thought for sure that'd pull the rest of them in. And they circled a couple more times and ended up leaving. We decided not to shoot Susie. We left her to migrate south and hopefully hatch a bunch more little ducklings next spring. Shoot him! All in all, it was an absolutely awesome evening hunt. Beautiful sunset. You just couldn't ask for a better way to close out our second day here in North Dakota.
I'm Scott Laseth, cooking editor for Ducks Unlimited magazine, and I'm going to fry a whole duck. Season it liberally on all sides with salt and pepper, and it's going to go into 350 to 360 degree oil. Place it in there gently. A mallard this size takes about 8 minutes to deep fry. Our roasted red peppers, you can roast them yourself over an open flame along with some red wine vinegar and some garlic and salt, freshly ground pepper and olive oil. And you can do this in a blender, food processor. You just want to get this pureed. Red pepper sauce. I have sour cream, mayonnaise, Dijon mustard, lemon juice, a little bit of honey, and some Tabasco for heat. And the flavor is going to come from the dipping sauces, not so much from what I put on the duck before it went into the fryer. The duck is ready. It's been about 8 minutes. Make sure you let it drain really well. On to paper towels. Now this is a hot duck, so give it a couple of minutes. And we're done, and this is going to be rare to medium rare. Start by cutting some legs off here. And if you give your legs a head start and you cut them off and get them in there for a little bit longer, take the breast right off the center. Rare to medium rare. If you cook it longer than this, what's going to happen is it's going to toughen up, and you're going to get that livery, gamey taste that people associate with improperly cooked duck. And you can get this recipe in the Ducks Unlimited magazine and, of course, at ducks.org.
Dog food.
for the retriever, the working retriever, the hunting dog. Dog food converts to nutrition, and nutrition is the energy in this dog's fuel tank. So what are you putting in there is going to give you the performance in the field or not. And it's the protein and fats, the omega-3 and omega-6 acids, and your phosphorus and calcium ratios that you need to think about. Let's talk about fat. Fat is the energy in this dog. Now, it's not the carbs like it is in human, it is the fat that is stored in his muscles. If you don't have enough fat diet, a digestible diet, you're gonna run out of power in the duck blind. Deke also needs a good omega-3, omega-6 acids to get a good shiny coat. That's where the oils in his coat come from, to shed water. And third is your phosphorus. Calcium phosphorus should be around 1%. And making sure we got that good muscle mass and bone structure, but we don't overdo calcium phosphorus. Now, our second point, what time of day do we feed the dog and how much? Recent research shows feeding a dog at the end of the day after exercise, exertion, hunting, is better 30 minutes to 60 minutes after the exercise. Feeding once a day is going to give us maximum performance and energy burst the following morning throughout that day. What about if the end of season rolls around and you're feeding a high protein fat diet? Should you really pull the dog off after season? Science again shows not true. It would be much better just to reduce the amount of the higher potency food or higher power food that you're feeding your dog than to convert them, because it takes so long for the winter feeding to get out of the dog's system and the new feed to get in, and then vice versa. You would have to start feeding well before season, 5 to 6 weeks before season, to actually get any benefit of the higher energy protein fat feeds. So science has proven it's the best probably just to use the same food all the way through and just reduce the amount of consumption. So let's think about some new ways of feeding. We certainly are at Wild Rose and trying to get the best performance out of our dogs in the field.
This morning's mallard hunt and that cut cornfield that we found was right in my wheelhouse. That's something I've grown up doing a lot of. A good friend of mine that lives up here in this part of North Dakota has a big snow goose spread, and we made the decision to put out about 150 snow goose full bodies. For one, there's a lot of snow geese in the area, and we hope as they're migrating in, we could pull a few bunches in, which we did. But more so, just to have a bigger spread of decoys, hide the blinds, hide the cameras, and give us a better opportunity to shoot those greenheads. I mean, it all worked out just right.
Back.
This could work. They're coming back. All right, Joe, get ready. All right, take them.
Good shooting, Tom. Look behind you on the right.
This is gonna go down.
Take them! Good girl. Here. Bird, 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 back.
Between Tom and Joe together, they've spent over 50 years towards Ducks Unlimited. For me to sit in the marsh with them for 3 straight days and tell stories and learn from them was an absolute unbelievable experience. I can't wait to get back up here next year.
No other form of hunting provides the social atmosphere of waterfowling. It's something best enjoyed between family and friends. The outdoors is indeed the world's oldest social network. Stay connected with Ducks Unlimited year-round at ducks.org and make it a point to join us at a DU event this year. No matter where you live, there's a DU event happening near you. You'll be greeted by a lot of special people celebrating an honorable cause. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on DU TV.